A very good evening to you, esteemed viewer. We are grateful that you are watching us this evening. We are also glad that you have come through. We want to thank the Almighty God for the day it is. It is a fresh week, and because it is a fresh week, we are here to spice up your week. Today is a Monday, and on Family Hour menu, of course, today we are talking about education and career growth. Adrian Austin Mukalazi is my name, and with us are panelists, mighty women of God. Mrs. Kintu, it's a pleasure having you this evening.
Hallelujah, praise the Lord.
Amen. Canon Alice, it's a pleasure having you this evening.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Good evening, viewers.
Today is a beautiful day. We want to thank God for the day it is, and of course we know that because we are looking at a very, very pertinent topic in such a season, because we know that we have parents who have a tendency of deciding for their children to take a shortcut, sometimes without a child's input, but also have children who tend to decide for their parents what they want to take without any consultation, without any guidance. But most importantly, we have parents who are still stuck on what to do with their children who completed P7, who completed Senior 4, who completed Senior 6. So that is why today we are looking at the importance of career guidance. Why is it really necessary that a child is guided in the various careers, so that they do not have these imaginations of when I grew up, as we're still young. When I grew up, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, I want to be a banker, because they sound fancy in a sense. But we want to look at...
So he's rich because he's a doctor.
Exactly. So we want to see why it is really important to introduce a career guidance to these children. Mrs. Kintu, if I can start with you,
yes.
What is career guidance as the phrase?
Career guidance. Excuse me, my voice is a little under the weather. You'll excuse me, but I'll try and speak up. Career guidance is helping a child to navigate their future. You take them through some level of direction. When you are talking about the kind of parents that we are today, or we have today, I looked at them in the three categories that you may have mentioned a bit. There are those parents who are so stuck up with what they themselves were able to achieve in their different careers and insist on having their child follow that same path. Those are the extremists. Then we have other parents, she's not the one, but I mean we have other parents who are not in any way involved or care. They care less because they don't think it's anything important. Probably they did not get the opportunity to be guided themselves. So they do not care. They say, what will be, will be. Whatever will be, will be. They don't even know that it's important to have that career guidance for the child. And then we have those who are in between and expect that the school should be able to do it for them. I believe that there should be a balance. We should not be extremists. We should not be extremists, but then at the same time, we should not be laid back. There should be a balance. But every child who is born, and I was only able to discover this when I had my own children, children are different. The discovery is about the difference of children. You have a feeling that because they grew up in the same environment, because they are nurtured in the same one, they will all be the same. But children are different, they have different mindsets, they have different goals and aspirations. And so it is important before you see them beginning to become scattered, that you give them some guidance on what possible paths you're able to take and what they will entail. Because some people just study to pass. And I think we've had that problem, especially in the old curriculum. People are just studying to pass so that they come out with D1s. But then when they're finished with the D1s, so what's next? They don't know. They said, I did all the subjects well, but what is it that you're passionate about? Career guidance helps you to focus on where your interest lies and what you'll be able to carry forward in the long haul.
Okay.
When you are not guided, you plunge into something because you think probably that's where the money is, and then you get tired of it. The money will be coming in, but you'll be tired because you're not passionate about it. It helps to awaken the passions that are within every child so that they can pursue something that they can do even when they are not being paid for it because they love it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Canon.
Yes, please.
There is something that Mrs. Kintu has talked about discovering. So when you look at this child, of course, there's something we always allude to that in the West, they study a child from childhood, and sometimes we think that is not our African thing. For us, it is a little different. But how can an African parent discover their child's potential, talent, and career, probably?
Now, that's a very, very interesting thing, and it's got nothing to do with African or white, whatever. It is got to do with this parent choosing to be involved and interested in their child's career growth or career path. That's where it starts from. To speak to yourself and say, this is who I am, but this child is an individual. This child is meant to be. And for us, from a Christian perspective, we know that, I think, we're not thinking, but what we know from the Christian perspective is that when this child was downloaded and put in the womb, God had a plan for them, totally different from yours. We should appreciate that distinction, and that is where it comes from. I am a doctor, celebrated doctor. It doesn't follow that my child is going to be one. They are whom they are meant to become. So that is where we start from as parents, and we study that. And of course, there are things that are high sounding, and they are nice to hear, but it is very, very acceptable. But it's very important. Now, where the importance starts from, as you look and explore your child's interests and strengths, their abilities, it is also important as a parent to go out of your way to seek knowledge, such that in the event that you want to guide this child with their teacher, you know what you're talking about because you are informed. I know that many parents are very interested in their children's careers, and they want to celebrate them and see them be better than who they are, because that's every parent's desire. What I failed to be, my child should actually be even better than who I am. The problem lies with the ignorance. You are pushing them to be better than you, but what are you telling them, and how are you helping them to navigate? That is one. Two, if you don't know what to do, look out for people who know what to do.
And let them help you.
And let them help you. We have so many schools that have career guidance offices. How many of us as parents labor to intentionally go to those offices and establish what is available, right? Because when you look at all the changes with the technology and everything, you'll be there trying to say, I want my child to be what? A computer scientist or whatever. Somebody was just telling me, when you talk about computer science, somebody will tell you about computers. But within the computer science framework, you see there is networking, there is the different aspects. So somebody was saying, no, if my child wants to do computer science, this is what I would want to do with them. And this person was saying, what you are doing now is obsolete. What you're thinking about is obsolete in that space because of the advancement of technology. So I think as we navigate the interest, the strength, us as parents, let's go out of our way so that we can get informed, we can get the knowledge, adequate knowledge to give guidance. Because at the end of that day, we should be reminded that guidance is for a season. Yes. After some time, Edrin, I think right now, I don't know if your mother still speaks into your life about where you should go. Today, when you get a workshop, or you checking on YouTube, you're even navigating your interests on your own. But if this child started early, and their interests were shown and they are known to them early, because many of us don't even know who we are. Self-awareness is actually a journey. But if we already know who we are, when we get into the workspace, because we always think about career choices that they stop at that level when we're choosing subjects. Career choices are for a lifetime. What I was 20 years ago, I'm not today. And that speaks. Why? Somebody has helped me navigate because they've given me more information. So for me, as we're navigating the interests and the strength, let's choose to get as much information. Let's be equipped with information.
Okay.
That way, you can help the child to make a good, informed decision. You help them, you ask. We've asked these questions to little children all the time. What do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be when you grow up? Do you know what it is that you are saying? Okay, I want to be an erotic engineer. Do you know what it means? You know, I want to be a neurosurgeon. They may not know, they may just have heard, they may have liked the word, but then
it sounds sophisticated.
To pursue that discussion in an age-appropriate manner. Find out, do you still want to be a neurotic engineer? Do you still want to be a neurosurgeon? You know, if they do not, if they have lost it altogether, at some point, one of my daughters wanted to be a lawyer at the very beginning. And she went through her secondary school, said, you know what, Mommy? I'm not going to be a lawyer at all. Because I'm struggling with history at all level. Said, and history, there's a lot of history in law. So that is not my path. I'm leaving that path. So it helps when you hold this, they make informed decisions. And then their decisions are also not based on what you want for them, but what is good for them. Like I say, it's an opening. As they open up, they may pick up new things, but at least you are able to guide them at this point, crucial point in life, so that they pursue something that they're passionate about.
We have a driving force of late, especially with scientists. Canon must have experienced this, especially in the admissions of senior fives, where everyone wants to do sciences. But when you critically get into why they want to do sciences, the reasons are the president is promoting scientists, the president is enhancing salaries for scientists, and that is the driving force. So Canon, at school level, have you offered guidance to these learners who come with all that excitement of sciences?
Now, this is, you know, the beauty about all this when you come to career guidance and its importance. When you focus on the money, trust me, you have lost it. Why? People buy excellency. So at the end of the day, you're getting into this profession and you're going to struggle. Just to prove you are a person in name only. But your relevance is nowhere to be seen. And nobody's going to buy into that. So you're going to be probably a doctor or after so much effort, right? You are there, you get in there, your parents pay for the, you know, the course for medicine, and then you are there, but you are not part of the whole thing. It does not speak to you. Medicine does not speak to you. My daughter was telling me that she has a friend who says she's going to be a surgeon. But even when she sees blood, a small cut like that, she's jumping all over the place. She freaks out. I said, but if you're going to be a surgeon, let me tell you, blood is going to be all over. How are you going to manage, right? So for her, it sounds nice in her ears, calling her a surgeon, showing up as the chief surgeon. Now a chief surgeon who cannot handle blood, you know. But what I want to go back to that element of saying, so and so is promoting sciences, the salaries for the scientists have been enhanced. But I want you to tell me, if you go to an institution and you want to have a percentage of the scientists and the artists, let's talk about just family TV here. How many scientists do you have?
Very few.
Yeah, let's go to a hospital. Where you have the hospital, you have the medical personnel. Who does the rest of the work that is critical? Who manages the finances that are going to pay the doctors?
The artists.
The artists. Who Who manages the PRO?
The adult.
Who manages, the HR needs?
The adult.
So when you talk about sciences, and I'll tell you, when the doctor is there, if the artist does not do the work, the doctor will not get the money.
Yeah.
It's the clients that I bring on board that the doctor works on, and if they work well, then these people are going to refer, but it's us who receive these
Two
clients.
things come to me when you brought up that example. One, that people are saying scientists are paid better in this government and this current situation, therefore I'm going to pursue something. That is being very narrow-minded. Because we may not always have this situation in place, and it only came to light a few 2-3 years ago. So already you help a child to know that is being very narrow-minded. Think broadly. Don't think in this small circle of Uganda, with all due respect. Think broader than that. What you have should be able to sell anywhere on the globe.
Yes.
That's the first thing. If you help them to understand, your scope of thought should not be limited to what your environment is. My other concern is, do we always think that we will be employed? Are you helping your child to understand that you may be a job creator, not a job seeker?
Exactly.
For a long time we've walked with this notion that I must study to become this and then be paid. That means that their mind is not being spread out to think. It's a possibility that I will be able to employ this world. The Steve Jobs of this day. Unfortunately, the richest people that we have in the world didn't do a lot of schooling. But maybe they had the art and the skill to create jobs. So when you're helping your child, don't help them only in the area of thinking where they can get employment. Are you able to employ with the skill that you are going to take, with the skill that you're going to get, with the career that you are choosing? Are you able to be the driver of several people? Are you going to be able to employ others? Not just expecting a salary and expecting to be employed. Because employment is good, but there's a ceiling. There's a place where you get it, and that is it. But are you able to create a situation where others will be able to benefit from that which you know, and that which you have, and that which you have studied?
Exactly. I just want to add on to that. I've had people who have big dreams and they say, not all school, or let me start from there, not all school owners, private school owners are teachers. So it means that even if we're talking about doctors, not all hospitals are owned by doctors, medical doctors.
That's right.
So if you have an entrepreneur, they'll put up a structure, get an HR, and be able to employ those doctors. So if I'm employing you as a medical personnel, who has the bigger hand and advantage? And who are they? And who are the
creator?
The job creator, the entrepreneur, who did probably math, economics, and entrepreneurship. They're the ones employing the one for BCM. You struggle with your books, you come and work for me. But this is what I would want to
Make it sound so bad.
No, I don't make it sound so bad. We are going back to that aspect. You're looking at this child who is saying, yes, I would love to do medicine, but the entrepreneur in them is very evident. So why don't you allow them to be an entrepreneur who is going and explore that and employ the doctors? He'll still be in a field that he celebrates, But I would also want to just make reference to Elon Musk. I think he's got quite a number of interviews of how they ask him how he does so many things. He said, no, I invited the experts. I employ them. I engage them. They work for me. What Mrs. Kintu was saying, that not all of them are highly schooled, but they have the skill. So as we're talking about career guidance, we need to be very intentional about interests and strengths. There is a child I know who said, I'm going to do engineering as a course, but I'll never work as an engineer. Why? I'm not ready to stand in the sun the way I see those people do. Secondly, jobs for the engineering people are not so many. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to a school setting, teach my students to become engineers, have an engineering firm and employ them. I'm an engineer who is a teacher, but I'm an entrepreneur in the making. They know. So I'm not going to stand in the only thing I'm not going to stand, but not all engineers stand in the sun, isn't it? But of course it comes with seniority. Where you start from, you have to start from a space where you stand in the sun. But let me say, if I go and teach my students and they excel and they become engineers, I'll have an engineering firm and they'll come and work for me. So you see, how he's thinking, the broadness of mind. It means that even if he is to go on a global trot, he's going to have the experience of saying, let me position myself, and at the end of the day, I'm going to excel as an entrepreneur, but in the engineering space. In other words, no engineer is going to come to him and begin telling him about engineering material that he doesn't know. And he's even giving himself the space, okay? By this age, I'll have finished my degree. By this time, I'll have finished this already. But why is he broadly informed? Because of career guidance.
Yeah, that's why when you talk about such a person, what do we want to tell the parents this evening? In order for you to give proper career guidance to your children, you yourself need to be informed.
Yes.
What is in vogue? What are the trends? What are the current trends? Don't move with your old trends and expect that you will use them to help your child of this century. Are we in the 21st or 22nd century?
Somewhere there, in between.
In this century that we are in, and you are thinking backward there. A long time ago in the a long time ago. We are no longer in the 19s. We are now in 2000 something and we are moving forward. So in order for you to help that child effectively, you must get on the ground and try what is happening now, what is selling, what is not selling. In as much as it was good then, it no longer is relevant now because the world is moving very, very fast. So let's work at being informed ourselves. And it will help our children to also believe in themselves. When they see you're interested in guiding them and steering them along. Somebody said that the reason why we're getting lost is that the driver doesn't know where we're going or something like that. When you as a driver are helping your child, guiding your child in their career choices, you will know where you're trying to drive them. And they will be encouraged and they'll know, oh, daddy, mommy, auntie are interested in what I am going to become. So I must confidently approach this. It is possible. You have to keep assuring them it's possible, you can do it, I see that in you. I got your back, I'm your chief cheerleader, etc. That builds the confidence of the child so that they don't approach it fearfully. Many of them get into especially S5 and S6 when they are fearing. They've given them PCB and the course is hard. And they are like, all they are doing is surviving because they are looking at becoming one of those jobs that pays highly, but they are not enjoying it. They are so frightened about the whole affair. They are not approaching it with love, with kindness, with grace, with confidence, with esteem. They are not there at all. I know that everything takes time to grow, but you want to be able to give them a good foundation that says, you know what? We got this and we're going to do it together.
Thank you so much. We are taking a short commercial break, but even as we go, I remember way back in school, especially when they used to categorize us for your ata, for your science. But we are taking a short commercial break. When we return, we are continuing from there. Kindly stick with us.
They did that in school.
They even know.
Si ujja bwogenda na layini by'owandiise.